Today is the very first episode of a new series I'm starting. I'm going to be training with some incredible people. You'll see who the guest is very shortly. We're going to be doing some private lesson as well as some sparring. You'll see how crazy I am to want to do this because he's a savage and he's a lot bigger than me. But he's my friend, so I know he's not going to hurt me. Dario Sinagoga is a professional MMA fighter who has fought across 3 different weight classes. With a record of 7-2, born in Ireland, now living in Vancouver, he is a high percentage striker, landing often by weaponizing pressure while staying calculated and not brawling. His style is a blend of technical precision and high fight IQ with disciplined pressure. Something he does incredibly well is pick his shots, often using the right weapon at the right time.
Right, let's just get a little bit of a warm-up going first here before we fucking injure ourselves, the old man getting back at it.
Oh man. The days of just going are gone.
Busy, yeah.
No, I just mean the days of just like showing up to train and not warming up are just done.
Yeah, no. There's none of that going on anymore. Okay, so if we're gonna do some wall fighting stuff, one of the most fucking crucial things, man, when you're fighting in the cage is to get to the cage wall. You know, that kind of way. So like the wall walk's really important. So let's just go down here. You're just gonna basically put your weight on me. Imagine you just took me down. We're in this position here. Say I've got you locked up for a second. I'm gonna try and get to my all hands and feet on the ground like this. I'm gonna try and turn my hips, push the head away. Once I get a little bit of distance, then forget about pushing and just scramble back. They have to follow, Once you get back here, then you're gonna make an angle. Try get an overhook. And then from there we can fight.
Okay.
Right, so that's the thing we're doing out here again. Even just go for it, take me down. Down, well, I go down. Once I'm here, if it's this side, I make an angle, push the head. Once I have a little bit of space, like my hips coming out a little bit, I'm just gonna go to the scramble because he has to follow or he's just gonna get left behind. Once I'm here, depending on where he is, I'm gonna pick a shoulder, I'm gonna turn, overhook here so I can get a bit of weight on top of my opponent. Hand on the ground. Now, the first thing that they're gonna do when I post up on this hand is they're gonna try and scoop that hand out. And if they do and get me down to my elbow, then I gotta fight to my elbow, fight to my hand, I got another battle. So what we do is, to make sure we don't lose this, we keep pressure here, we keep turning. We're gonna get your knee to the wall first, hide that hand. Apply more pressure on top. Then you can come up onto your foot and keep that hand hidden behind the foot so they can't grab the hand. And then from there, once you have the foot there, you can replace your hand here. You can stay up against the wall if you want to use the wall to block. If not, you can circle out. Once you circle out, then you're out of a really bad position. It's back to 50-50. Most important thing when you're doing wall fighting, not most important, but like you want to keep pressure on them. If you take your pressure off, they're going to be able to move away. One of the easiest, most simple defenses from this is to sit into the wall and put pressure. And now you have that little bit of space. That gives you a bit of space to move. So when you close them against the cage, you gotta pin them close. If they get a little gap, even if they push away at you like this, get a little bit of space, they can use that space.
Oh, that's
same way. It's like a reverse hip bump.
Yeah.
So you're pushing your hips up, and then as you drop the hips, you get the space to go. Same idea as that.
Gotcha.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get nice and close. Ideally, because this is gonna give you more pressure. Keep that back foot dug into the ground and try to get that knee to the cage. Once that knee's on the cage, then you've literally blocked me from moving my feet. Because what happens is if that knee is not there, step it back. If that knee is not there, I can wizard hard, I can turn, bring my, move my, using my feet, basically my footwork to get out.
I need that knee deep.
So once that knee gets in there, you're basically locking my 2 legs apart on their own. And then from there, I gotta struggle. So, again, simple movement to get away from this is just sit into the wall. It's easy with you because you're a little bit shorter than me. So sit against the wall like that. Once you have that space there, you push against me, keep pushing, keep pushing. And then if I need to, I can turn. When you got the body lock there, it makes it a lot more difficult.
You want me to get the body lock?
Once you have the body lock there, it's hard for me to get the space.
Okay, that makes sense.
But anyway, that was the right thing to do. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was the single leg defense. This thing works against the wall like wonders. Also, when you're standing in the middle of the floor, it doesn't make a difference. So I'm just gonna let you take any leg you want. Go for a single leg. Once he has that single leg, right away I need to use this cross face and get his head to the inside of my body. From here, he can almost climb up and take my back. Yeah. So I need to make sure he doesn't go to my back. Once he gets that single leg, even if he's on this side here, I'm gonna have to cross face. You can't just hit, because sometimes hitting, they're gonna deal with it because they're used to getting punched in the face. So you're gonna grab the back of the tricep here and use that as a wedge to peel.
Yeah.
Right, once you get that, then you can push the head on the inside. Once the head's on the inside, you're still in danger here to get taken down. He's gonna try run the pipe, bring you backwards. So if you wanna come over this side, you're gonna be able to see a little better. So right away, I push the head and I give the single leg, because I don't want them to have the double leg. Once I have this space here, I dig my hand in here, right underneath, I grab my own leg. From here now, I have a little bit of pressure. I can start to push him. I got a little bit of a leverage there. So with pushing the head away and getting this leverage here, I can almost break his hands. But just to verify I have the position, I use my head, I grab my elbow here, still top pressure on the left shoulder, on my left arm. And then from here, I use my head, can opener. I push with my head and I pull the forearm and I crank that, bam. Once that's open, I dig for the underhook against the cage, and then it's my turn. You're in a more dominant position there.
Ooh.
So that single leg defense, I think it's 7 steps if I'm not mistaken. So even if you do it away from the wall here, I go forearm across. 1, 2, 3, foot on the outside. I didn't remember that the last time. 4, 5, 6, and 7 is like a pop. And then you dig underneath and turn to the cage. And then it's your turn to go to work.
Oh, beauty.
That single leg defense works great. Even if you're out here, go again.
You shoot at me? Oh, we shoot
You shoot on me, you take my single leg. So if I don't want him to get the double, he goes for the single, then he goes for the double right away, I'm down. You're done. As soon as he gets the single, you give it up. You give him just the single. I get that head on the inside with a bit of push. 1, 2, foot out, 3, 4, 5, oh yeah, 6, 7, pop. Once you're open here, MMA, you can push off, hit. Go for your own takedown, whatever you want, but just once you get away from that takedown, you're laughing.
That's gnarly.
So that's one of the main ones that I use. Wall walk all the time. Single leg defense all the time. Someone goes for a double, I give them the single. Even if I hit the ground, I'll stand up if they have hold of my one leg, and I'll keep fighting that. And that 7,
I've seen you do that before.
that 7 step single leg defense works like anywhere.
So you always want, no matter what takedown they get, you want them to the single, because you can defend the single easiest.
Yeah. Because once they get the double, then you're going to be on the ground, and then that's when you're in the Khabib territory where they have both legs, they start to climb up.
Yeah.
They have your legs lassoed, and then you're...
It's a terrible position.
Yeah, so it's like try nip it in the bud, or like, yeah. Body lock is just the meanest thing on the wall. The body lock.
Yeah.
That's Hulk had us all struggling with that. So once I'm here, boom. Really, when it comes to grappling, you really want to make sure that they can't put their hands together. As soon as someone gets their hands together, you're in trouble because they have more leverage at their hips. So if I'm here, right, I'm like what you would be, I'm trying to trap this arm. You're trying to keep weight on that shoulder. Even, yeah, exactly. What I would do is try to even grab my chest. And then once you kind of turn that shoulder down, yeah, you don't even need this. Just use that hand against your chest there. Yeah, nice. Now we're fighting for this control.
Yeah.
Because if you got pressure here, you're out. Because you can move your feet now because my knee's not against the wall.
Yeah.
So if you get here, I really want to dig under. Get really close. I want to get you glued to the wall here, right? If I would be fighting, my entire fight here would be to try to get my hands together. And sometimes you'll notice that you can't get your hands together because you're pushing them against the wall. So you're pushing them against the wall and you're like, I can't get my hands in there. So you have to do like a little hip bump where you can just kind of go, boom.
Oh, that sucks.
And once you get your hands together there and you're pushing them against the wall, that like wedge is really shitty.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're up too high, you're not gonna get a lot of leeway. You're gonna have to be wrestling the arms. So when you get that bump, boom, boom, get nice and low as you can around the hips, right around the tailbone. And then from there with the knee against the wall, you can just suck them up and you literally lift them against the wall. And from there, then you have whatever you want. Bring them back, bring them forward.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. He's like squished against the wall, pushed out, then the arms go behind, then you get squished against the wall again with something stuck in your back.
Yeah.
And then they have just so much leverage over you.
Do whatever you want.
Because it's like being flattened against the ground.
That's gnarly.
So why don't you give that a go? Once you get this up nice and high, yeah, that's good. And then you want to, yeah, I would be fighting to the death to make sure this hand doesn't get together. So look, you're pushing me against the wall. Use your hips to push me against the wall and bump me out. Boom, yeah. Once your hands are together, then you can start to like drop down, loosen and drop down a little bit. Once you get underneath there, knee against the wall, and just basically where your knee is against the wall, try and push your hips against the wall like your knee is. Yeah. A little bit of height would do you good here in this situation. But from there, then you can just basically turn me like a trucker.
Yeah, just
like, yeah. I'm glued to you. So wherever you're going, I'm gonna go.
just go over.
Yeah. You're in here, boom.
This hand's, is this a good place or should I be inside?
If you go onto if you're on the outside of my leg there, it does give me a little bit of space to get that underhook.
Yeah, so you.
And then I can try to like turn you. So if you get in here, if you're gonna go for the single, I would go for the single, like take the leg.
Take the single, okay.
But if you're gonna go for the underhook, I would make sure that underhook is deep enough that I can't wizard it.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna look for this pressure. So when you go underneath, you need to make sure that shoulder's up nice and high so I can't get that.
I think with my height, I wouldn't be able to do that anyways.
Once you grab my shoulder on the other side, yeah, then you have it then, because look, I can't get my wizard in without moving my body. And if I move my body, then I'm giving you something.
Yeah, you give me.
So once you get in here, lots of people do this.
That's what I do,
That's not good enough. If you go here, then look, try to wizard me, try to clamp down on
there's
that.
no way.
Yeah, but if I go here, look, all you gotta do is turn. Yeah. Boom. So this is where I would want to be doing my single leg defense. Yeah, nice. I would do the single leg defense here, or I'm gonna eat shit for sure. Yeah, even if it's not get your head on this side, that's what I would do. I would fight for that body lock, because once you have that body lock, now look, you still give me my footwork without that knee on the inside. Now, where do I go? I can't go this way, I can't go that way. That's it. So you can just try to even bring that back foot in a little closer because you're a little shorter. There you go. Now hip up and then, whoa, yeah, exactly. There's so much torque there. As soon as you go, I'm just gonna go with you.
And I guess you have the recoil of the cage. Never thought about that.
Yeah, you
like
do the bounce.
Bounce them, yeah.
Bounce, and as they come back out, then toss them.
I'm stoked to drill that. Thank you so much.
Nice, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of things that are like go-tos for me.
I know I'm gonna watch this footage and be like, oh, my hips are never under me.
Well, you know what? Like I said, we're just kind of running through them a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like not so intricately. But yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You wanna move around a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to do some striking?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's move around a little. We'll do a short MMA round. Fuck.
Nice. Oh, I got one of those too.
Oh, wait.
Nice. Sure.
the whole premise of the series, and you're the first guest I had on. You're a good friend of mine. Learn some technique, train together, spar a little bit, and then ask some questions because I want to show that like the average person who doesn't train doesn't understand fighting is so much more. People like think it's just this meathead, but it's primal thing, which it is, but it's also a very high emotional intelligence, high IQ thing.
For sure.
So the first question.
To do it well.
To do it well, yeah. Not the bar brawls.
Yeah, that'll only get you so far.
The first question I wrote is, how did you end up choosing fighting as a career, and why MMA?
As a career, I think it just happened. I started fighting because I'd done a team sport. I played rugby for a lot of years, and I needed that physical kind of outlet. And I decided to just go and train and do something in an individual sport. So there was a boxing gym across the street, started boxing, kickboxing. Noticed guys coming in wearing their pajamas, doing the thing on the ground, and I was like, that doesn't look like it's for me, but you know, I was enjoying everything else. And then eventually I decided to try it out and start doing jiu-jitsu and stuff. But that brought me here just to pursue my career and just kind of learn from different people. Okay. I hadn't started as a pro yet. I was still fighting amateur, but I was looking for knowledge and different mentors, you know. But as a career, I think it just happened. I just loved training so much and then just got into it. And I got to a point where my coach wanted me to fight. And I was like, oh, I don't want to fight. I was like, I just want to do this for my own well-being, and it's just for me, and I enjoy everything about it. There's no need for me to fight. And he kept asking me for a good while, and then I think after about a year of him asking me, I was like, you know what? If you want me to fight, I'll fight for you. I was like, I'll fight for you. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. And I prepared. I cut a lot of weight. First competition was first real competition was an MMA fight. I'd done like some boxing and fundraiser kind of stuff like that around the local area, just putting on boxing shows, fighting other coaches, other instructors and stuff. So yeah, I ended up getting into an MMA fight, and it was a long process to get ready for it. And I won in the first round, which was awesome. I was put up against a real good wrestler. He was more wrestling based. He came out playing the 3-point rule. He was touching the ground as he came out.
Yeah.
So, but that didn't last long. As soon as he kind of went at me, he was wrestling me for a bit. He tried to do that, you know, that like gator spin where you try to spin real fast and twist them.
Yeah.
And then he twisted himself just underneath me. He twisted, I didn't twist. And then I dropped on top of him and I was in ground and pound position there. And back in Ireland, as an amateur, there was no C-class rules. It was just like, you could, you know, it was pretty much just no knees to the head and then the usual, you know, foul rules.
Yeah.
So I won that fight, and I honestly, looking at the photographs of me winning the fight, I looked like the saddest winner ever. Because
Really?
I just thought it was going to be like blood and bones broken. I just thought it was going to be an absolute brawl. So when I got in there and I won and I got out without a scratch on me, I was kind of like, that's it? That's all? That's it? And then I was hooked to go again. I was like, okay, let's do this again, and let's see if we can kind of like get that intensity that I was looking for, you know?
That's cool.
I kind of got hooked to it. But the training gave me that intensity. I didn't need to fight. I just wanted that kind of like intense, kind of like struggle from hit, kind of like intense, high intensity interval training stuff where you're just like, go, 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 over here, doing this, doing that. Just mixing up the muscle groups so that you can just keep pushing as hard as you can, in that kind of way. But yeah, that all had its reasons, you know what I mean? And it was good for me to be able to have that outlet and be able to like get that out of my system or get it into my system. I didn't know what it was. It was one or the other, but it worked. You
That's
know?
rad.
Yeah.
Why MMA over boxing?
I think I just enjoyed the physicality of doing everything.
Okay.
You know, once I started doing some grappling and then we weren't doing MMA rounds and I was doing kickboxing, having to limit myself to just doing one martial art is okay. But it's like when you're boxing and as a Muay Thai fighter, you kind of feel like your hip gonna go, or you feel like, oh, inside leg kick there, and you do stuff you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
So for me, I was able to do things individually, but for me to be able to be in a free flow state, I can't think about, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Anything beyond like, you know, don't jump in the air and kick a guy straight
Poke him in the
face, poke him in the eye or something stupid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about doing something stupid, but being able to use one of the weapons that I had trained with and not be able to use it in a fight, it's just a bit dangerous. He's asking to get a disqualification or something.
That's a good answer. I've never heard that answer before.
So I got to be able to do everything or I'm going to make a mistake.
My first time, like a hard boxing round, I was sparring the boxing coach, and I was a Muay Thai coach.
Yeah.
And never really boxed. And I got super overwhelmed. We were boxing in a cage, and I just like teeped him. And everyone stopped. Everyone, and I'm like, what happened? They're like, you just kicked him. I was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was just like on the cage.
Didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that same idea, like where you just want to be able to express, you know? If you're going to speak a language, you can't just take words out of it. You can't have a conversation that way.
I love that. Yeah.
But yeah, MMA, the career just kind of fell into place, and just my hunger for learning more and wanting to do more, because you can learn and learn and learn, but to be able to apply it, you need to compete. So it's like, you can do it, but how well can you do it underneath that live pressure?
Totally different.
You know? And I think that's just the battle of perfection. Like, as we train for perfection, and when we get in there, we know we're not going to get it, but as close as we can is what makes me smile when I see something done, like, oh, look, I did that step there, you know?
Yeah.
And normally I just like chuck it, you know? I was like, oh, see, look, I was actually unconsciously being conscious about doing it right. You know what I mean? Where you do something so many times that you just can't do it wrong anymore.
Yeah.
And when you
like
see
your
that,
left hook.
right? Yeah. It's like, what is that? And I'm like, I literally don't know.
Yeah.
I just do it so much that it's just pop, it's there.
Yeah, it's wired. I love that.
Yeah. It's definitely one of my favorite strikes for sure. It's the one that gives most people the most trouble.
Yeah, I would agree. You
know?
just move around, leave a little bit. It's the scariest one.
Yeah. I like that check hook. Was one of the things I was going to show you if we did some striking stuff. Yeah. Is just like the 2 steps in, and then as an amateur, you usually throw punches, and then you get stuck in front of somebody and you get hit. And you're like, every time I throw punches, I get hit. Why do I get hit? It's the stepping in, but out the stepping out. But when you step out, that's when I use that counter. So when you take those 2 steps in to hit, even if you're not going to counter, you step out, and that gives you that dum beat.
Yeah.
So every time I step in, boom, boom, I'm stepping out with my hands up, but as that front foot comes back, if that beat is a good time to hit, I'm always ready to catch them on the way in.
Yeah.
And that also makes me make sure that I don't throw punches in and not do anything to get out.
Yeah, you programmed it. So every time you escape, there's something.
Yeah. Step in, step out, step out, or step out.
I often talk about how the most difficult moments in my life and the long term have been good things. You know, have developed my character, have given me opportunity. How do you, when you look back at your hardest fight, whether it's inside or outside the cage, what did you gain that you couldn't have without going through that hard time?
There's 2 levels to that question, because when you compete, your mindset for each fight could be different. Mm-hmm. How you approach the fight, how you approach applying the game plan. Like, in your head, you need to be like emotionally sound enough, or in the right box in your mind to be able to know that nothing's going to get in the way of you doing that. And you need to be confident in that box. You can't jump to different boxes. You have to get into that one box and go, this is the one I choose, and this is the one that I'm going to believe in, and I'm going to go at it with this. So as you fight, you start to learn what kind of a person you want to be in there. Funny, because for me, all the different ways I was trying to be in there was always a little bit different depending on the opponent that I had. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, with you're saying the most important fight in the struggles, my first loss, when I lost my clean record, was huge for me. The fight was a little bit kind of like, meh. It was an early stoppage. Mm-hmm. Guy hit me, I went down, but I was getting myself back up. I was like halfway through my technical stand-up, and the referee, just like me standing here in front, he just stood in front and was like, that's it. And I'm looking at the guy like, hello?
Yeah.
Like, I'm right here doing a thing, you know? And obviously in my head, I'm like, they have a hard job. They have, they keep people safe, and it's up to them to make sure people aren't taken out of the career for good. So I did come to peace with that, and I had a conversation with him after my last fight. And that's all well and good. But your mind state when you get in there is one thing. So what I was saying about that, the funny thing about it is my mind state that I changed with different opponents, ultimately, the person that I am now stepping into the cage is always going to be the same person because of my understanding of everything that's happened to this point. And I always said to myself, each fight camp was like the final resurrection. This is going to be the best version of myself. the final resurrection, you know? And every fight camp for a lot of years was like that. And now I don't have any sense of final resurrection. This is me. When I go there as me. And my understanding of me through the history of fighting, I don't mentally try to prepare as much as I used to. It's not a big deal for me anymore because I go there who I am now, which is what helped me, the fighting and what I've gone through has helped me realize to know thyself. And now that isn't an issue for me mentally. I go in there as me. So that's one thing. Then the physical aspect of it, I feel as if, you know, when the cage door closes and you have that spark in your head of, okay, am I ready for this? That confidence is not going to come from the amount of hours in the gym. Okay, it does, but it doesn't, like what you're going to worry about and what you're going to think about is any moment where your chain was weakened at all. Diet, I don't know, going somewhere where you probably shouldn't have went, staying up late. It could be the simplest of things, you know? So ultimately, it's like the preparation to get in there physically, you must not cheat. You must have yourself the way you expect yourself to be without any hiccups or any cracks in the foundation. And that's super important because it's not so much about what you're doing when you prepare, but as much as you lock into what you say you're going to do and stick to that. Because that's where the confidence comes from. It could be the slightest thing of like, oh, not that extra handful of fucking nuts or not that extra, you know, something on the plate. Those little things, they all add up that, you know what, actually, you know, I'm good. No, it's not the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. And just builds yourself up on good decisions. And then physically, then you can't be beaten. If you are the best version of yourself, then really you're not going to lose. Because if you get in there the best version of yourself and you lose against a better opponent, you go home with something to think about that's going to be a really important thing to digest for you to get better. Or you go there and you're the best and you smash the guy. And you leave being like, I went there being the best. He's a good fighter and I beat him because I went there as my best. You know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Like the same way you want your opponent to show up his best.
Yeah.
You don't want to beat a good guy on a bad day. You know that kind of way?
Yeah. You had talked about your first loss, losing your perfect record. What did that teach you? What was rebuilding from that like?
It taught me that just because you put in 100% of the work doesn't mean you're going to get the reward. And that was huge for me because I had always put in so much work that the reward was just inevitably mine. It was like Victoria talks about, where it's like, we've already won the fight. We just have to walk the walk.
What'd you learn from you losing your perfect record, like that loss?
Definitely an element of just kind of overcoming my ego.
Yeah.
Because you, as an amateur, having 12 fights and winning most of them and learning a lot of mistakes as an amateur, when I became a pro, I was like, I've made my mistakes. I know how good I am. And I know that I have what it takes to go as far as I want to go. And after taking that loss, and regardless of whether I feel it was a fair loss or not a fair loss, you go home with it and you have to swallow it because it's a loss. It's on your record. That's it. So getting out of the victim mentality of being in it and being unfair or feeling like things were unfair and getting over all that, I understand the sport that I'm in and how things go, and it happens to the best of us. But having to go home and really think about the person behind the fighter. Because the fighter's always ready to go. The fighter's always itching for someone to give them a hard time so they can push back. You know, that kind of way. It's like, give it to me. Give it to me and see what happens. You know, that kind of way.
It's the journey of the hero.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you have to let that guy really understand that day wasn't our day, you know, and he's a winner and he doesn't like to lose and he wants to win no matter what. And even if I go home and he wants to be a winner, then I'm just fighting with myself between the person and the fighter that I am. And then that basically gave me the biggest challenge of fighting that I had, where I had to console the fighter and console the person and bring them back together again and be like, look, this is just how it goes. It's not about you. It's like me and you fighting about something else that someone else is doing. We're having an argument. It's like, it's not going to do anything. We need to stick together. So basically bringing those two back together and then really becoming combining the fighter and the person, bringing my Dario, just a human being, to this driven entity of I'm not going to stop until I get my thirst quenched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though you're getting beaten and you take a loss or whatever happens, as long as you're still thirsty, there's still something to push for. And you know there's that flame in there that's still burning.
Yeah.
So as long as that's still burning, then it's up to you to put the fuel on it and see where it goes.
That's
You know?
the perfect segue, because my next question is, if you could pass one lesson to the next generation of fighters, what would it be and why?
Get over yourselves. Get over yourselves as soon as you can.
Yeah.
The recovery. If you're going to be a fighter, you're always going to want to struggle. You're always going to want to hurt. Don't forget to stretch after training. Don't forget to get in a sauna, steam room. Don't forget to give yourself that like warrior in a garden time.
Sleep.
Rest. Lots of rest. You talk to any top level guy and see the interviews and stuff like that they're putting out there, like you're sleeping in between training sessions. Like you might be training 7 hours a day, but you're sleeping you're getting 2-3 naps in there, maybe an hour each nap, and then a 40-minute nap or a half an hour nap before a training session. And those things are the things that keep you alive and give your body a chance to just stop. Because when you're so driven on the mats, when you come off the mats, you're still driven to live. You're still driven to this. I'm going to go get a sandwich, but I'm getting a fucking sandwich. Yeah. You know, it's have your time to be know what parameters you're working with. And also, like anything and anybody who is in a profession and they're got their head wrapped around the task all day, is whatever you do outside when you go out in your day to become that person that you want to do, when you come home, remember that you're just a person and put that shit down and be a person.
Great advice. Great advice.
Pick it up whenever you want, but be able to put it down.
Do you think fighters are born or made? And where do you see yourself on that spectrum?
I think we're made. We're definitely made. I think we're all fighters, but some people just have certain experiences in their lives that give them something more, gives them a little bit of more willpower in the struggle. Like anything, you callous yourself. Whatever, life will callous you, and if you're calloused enough, then maybe you want to fight because it doesn't hurt so much. Or because maybe you're used to the hurt and it kind of feels like home. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is. Like I said to you before, whether it's something that I'm getting or something I'm getting out of me, whatever it is, it works. Don't want to ask any questions.
Semantics.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, remind me the question again. My head keeps slipping here.
Do you think fighters are born or made?
Oh, made for sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely made. Me, I feel like I definitely had things in my life that made me want to know that I could back myself up. And, it's common as well, you know what I mean? Like in these schools nowadays, children are cruel and bullying can happen at a really young age. And it doesn't have to happen to you when you know what's going on. Sometimes things can happen to you when you don't really know what's going on, but you leave with the energy.
Yeah.
And then that's the hard part then, you got to look back on it and you got to take that walk down that route and find out where it comes from. But I think we're all fighters because we're all here struggling and suffering to be alive, then we're gonna fight to stop that suffering from ending, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Everything fights to survive, totally.
So everybody's fighting to survive, but some people, I think, just and the sad thing about it is sometimes people have experiences that make them angry, and then they go to the gym because they need to let that out, to let the steam out.
Yeah. And
then there's people that don't get angry, they get sad, and they come to the gym because they don't want to be sad. They want to have some other emotion that comes after the sadness.
Yeah.
The sadness, confidence, the anger to relaxed confidence. That kind of way, whatever it is, whether you're giving something, you're taking something in. There's different reasons to be fighters.
Yeah.
And definitely made. Some are born for sure. I can imagine that some people are just born with a little little chip on their shoulder, a little bit of, as my mother would say, you were always wired to the moon. I had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So some people are just fit for things that have to make them move. You know,
I
that
agree.
could be anything, but to be a fighter is a brave one to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after saying that, who's your absolute favorite fighter?
I have lots of favorite fighters because of their styles. There's some guys that are really, really awesome. Like at the moment, I just love Poirier. I just love the fact he's going into the MMA cage and he's just murking people with his hands.
Yeah.
I like that style. It's kind of my style. It's like a controlled brawler.
Yeah.
Like a brawler if he was a sniper and had to pick his shots. Like
Beautiful precision. Yeah. Heavy hands.
Yeah, and that forward pressure aggression. It's like it scares the shit out of wrestlers. Because once you're moving forward, wrestlers, they're, you know, they get worried. Once they get you on the back foot, then they're all laughing. Mm-hmm. Likes it to Poirier. I love Dustin Poirier. He's just one of those all-round fighters where you've seen him as a young guy in the UFC, and you've seen him make his mistakes. You've seen him fight McGregor. You've seen him, change from being a kid to a man when he was like 28, and then he's like 30, and you see the man that he is now, and his person and his fighter are together. Close. Yeah. They're together, and I admire that. And he gets in there as himself. You know what I mean? Unlike some fighters, they build themselves up in their head, and when they step in there, they have to get into the suit.
The alter ego.
They're fighting in the suit. You know, that kind of way. But speaking of McGregor, which I feel like McGregor does, he's fantastic, but he's one that I am a little bit torn between, because obviously he's Irish. He's not a great ambassador for the country, but if you think about what he's done for the sport, he's made that sport into what it is today. And
style-wise, what he was able to do, how he moves as a striker, it's impossible to not respect his striking.
100%. He was a beautiful fighter, an absolutely beautiful fighter, and just made it look so. He just done it so many times he couldn't do it wrong. You know what I mean? And I admire him because he really elevated the entire sport and the entire game. You know, the same way as George St. Pierre did, in his own way, with just promoting and being that really good person.
Ambassador for the sport
that gets in there and does this thing that you would look at a good person like that and like, oh, that person's too good, he wouldn't be able to do that. But that is somebody who's to be admired, an all-rounded person. The same like Jordan Peterson would say, what's the point in being so nice to somebody if you can't defend yourself or be aggressive? You know what I mean? Or what's the point in showing your aggression all the time if you can't take it down, turn it down, and be empathetic? Or you know what I mean? So totally. People get fixated on how they want to be when really we can be everything.
Yeah.
You know? So I admire that when you see fighters that are like Dustin Poirier, the person and the fighter are married together, they're the same person. You know? And when they win, they talk sense.
I love that. Love that. Last question. I stole this from a podcast I like. Yeah. I want to start a tradition, so you're the very first guest of this series. We're still figuring out the name. Okay. But I want you to leave a question for our next guest.
Okay. This is one because I want it to be important to state I want the question to highlight how important footwork is. Okay. So I'm going to say, what is your favorite tune to play when you're shadow boxing?
Beautiful. I love that.
Right? Because some people have certain tempos and different things. It's actually a real indication of what kind of fighter they are. If you listen to them playing a song while they're doing their shadow boxing, you're like, oh, I know that guy's tempo he likes. I like that tempo. Okay. Totally. And then if you hear that, you're like, well, if I shadow box to something a little bit faster, then I'll have that half beat in between, you know, that kind of way. So it really, I think it just exposes what kind of fighter you are without actually having to be like, I like to do this.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And
Thank
I love
you so
music.
Much. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you too, brother. All right, that's it for episode 1 of Under the Glove. We have a name we didn't when we started the episode. Big shout out to Dario for absolutely humbling me today, teaching me some stuff. Very, very cool to be able to, spar with him, learn from him. This whole series, for me, is about showing the real side of training. If you don't train, you don't really understand this. There's a lot of fans of MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing that don't train, and I want to highlight what it means to be a fighter. There's so many moments that don't make it in the highlight reel, that don't make it in the octagon or in the cage or the ring. The lessons you only learn when you sit down and talk to the people involved in the sport. If you like this, you made it this far, thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment, make sure you subscribe, and let me know who you want to see me train and spar with next, because we're going worldwide, baby. And one more time, subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in episode 2.